What's up? Hey YouTube. Sean Little with Vapor Trail Tactical. Wanted to cover a really important subject today, and that is firearm safety. And in particular, firearm safety with a bolt-action rifle. Most everybody knows the 4 firearm safety rules, and they also can say them, but a lot of times they don't know how to apply safety rules when it comes to their particular weapon system. And with the bolt gun, if you're not really paying attention, or you're a little distracted, or you're losing focus, it can definitely bite you in the butt. So I'm going to start with the modern bolt-action rifle. And the modern bolt-action rifle is going to have a detachable box magazine. So with the detachable box magazines, what we'll do is we'll load up a 5-round magazine or a 10-round magazine with 5 rounds or 10 rounds respectively, and we'll drop down. We'll fire our first group of the day. We'll fire the first 3 shots, and they're all just stacked right on top of each other. So we get super excited, don't need to shoot anymore, don't need to worry about zero. What we'll do is drop the magazine, clear out the gun. We could cycle the bolt a couple of times, all right, clear up through the magazine, and then we get a little distracted. We're talking to our buddy about how great we shot, and when it's time to move or do something else, we'll go ahead and pop that magazine back in, and then we'll close the bolt. So what happens is we'll open the bolt, drop the magazine, and we don't clear our magazines. If you aren't clearing your magazines, or you get distracted, even one time, it's going to wind up being a really bad day for you. And as you can tell, whenever you cycle that bolt, that it makes a pretty distinct noise whenever you chamber that round. So there's a big difference between cycling the bolt with nothing in it and then cycling the bolt with a round. So with a round, it makes a different noise, which is pretty easy to hear. But when you're on the gun range, or you're in the parking lot, cars are going, and there's a bunch of noise, you got your hearing protection on, you may not hear that, and you also may not feel the round going to the chamber when you put that magazine in. So a lot of people are going to say, well, you'd feel it, but depending on how loose your action is, how smooth it feeds, you may or may not feel that round going to the chamber. So clearing your magazines, in addition to the magazine well and your chamber, is critical. The other thing people are doing is they're taking their magazines and they're putting it in the gun for storage. Okay? Put it in the gun for storage, and the problem with that is when you put it in the gun for storage, same thing happens. You have magazines, some magazines do have rounds, some magazines that don't have rounds, and when you put it in the gun for storage, you're just going to create problems for yourself later on down the road, because it only takes that one time for you to have that round in the magazine when you put it in there for storage. So keep your magazines separate. A lot of this comes from just being forgetful or not wanting to forget our magazines, so we'll put it in the gun for storage. So we'll always have a magazine with a gun, we won't forget it. And that's a really bad habit to get into. So keep your magazines separate from the gun, keep them in your gear bag so that you don't forget them, or get a count of all your gear before you go to the range. But keeping your magazine separated from the gun is pretty critical. So make sure you keep your magazines separated, and also clear your magazines. For those of you who have an old school rifle, or you're just like me and like having the old M40 as a collector's piece, you take this thing out to the range, same thing happens. You load up 5 rounds, you fire the first 3, you're going to clear your gun out. What should happen is the round should drop out of the way. But what happens a lot of times is that your fingers get in the way, and depending on your rifle and what it is that the floor plate won't drop all the way out of the way. It won't drop all the way down. So you can cycle the bolt all you want to. It's not going to do anything. You can stick your finger in there, and you can also clear where the follower should be, and you're not going to feel anything. So you think the gun's clear, go to put the follower back, and you close your bolt. You just chambered another round. So anytime you unload your drop floor plate magazine, you got to make sure you shoot clear all the way. Get that follower all the way out, get that spring all the way out. Check from the bottom whenever you're clearing your magazine well, and then check in your chamber. Still got to get that visual and physical inspection to make sure that it's clear. The only way to do that really is through the bottom of the magazine well. Any questions, email me at seanlittle@vaportrailtactical.net, or you can go to my website at www.vaportrailtactical.net. Thanks for watching.